and suddenly you feel your heartbeat out of your chest, literally. You feel this wave of fatigue and haziness, and suddenly you feel like you just sprinted a mile. This is what my dad experienced a couple years ago when he was driving home from work. A quick and sudden movement triggered a heart rate faster than he had experienced before, and he ultimately lost consciousness. He was lucky enough to be discovered by one of his employees in his car. He was later diagnosed with what we now know as arrhythmia, specifically PSVT. So today I'll be telling you what arrhythmia is, specifically PSVT, what causes it, how to prevent it, and how to help someone if they're ever facing an episode. So what is arrhythmia? Arrhythmia is just a fancy term for irregular heartbeat, whether that be too fast or too slow. In serious cases, it can cause fatigue because of the poor blood flow from your irregular heartbeat. According to Stanford University's article titled Arrhythmia, arrhythmia can cause a lack of oxygen, which is what results in the fatigue and the haziness. And this can ultimately cause damage to your brain, your heart, and other vital organs. The specific form of arrhythmia that my dad suffers from is called paroxysmal supraventricular tachycardia, also known as PSVT. PSVT does not necessarily target a specific age or someone who has had previous heart problems or heart disease. And in a normal person's heart rate, according to a study done by University of Rochester, it's 60 to 100 beats per minute. A person who suffers from PSVT, however, can have a heart rate from 130 beats per minute to 230 beats per minute, according to Johns Hopkins Medicine. So, what causes arrhythmia? Multiple things can cause it, from everyday things like medicine, caffeine, and nicotine, to more hereditary aspects like differences in your heart composition, differences in electrical signals, and irritable heart cells. For people who suffer from PSVT like my dad, they have what doctors like to call an accessory heart rate or accessory pathway. This extra pathway connects the atria, one of the chambers of your heart, and the ventricles. So according to University of Rochester, a normal heart rate will have electrical impulses that start from the sinus node, activating the atria and ultimately sending the ventricles to contract and pump blood. However, for someone who suffers from PSVT, you have an extra pathway causing the electrical impulses to go circularly rather than from point A to point B. This is what causes the extra heart rates, whether they be too fast or too slow. In PSVTs, in this specific case, it would be too fast. And this is what causes the fatigueness or dizziness. So in cases where you do come up to someone who is suffering from arrhythmia, or if you do end up finding out that you do suffer from arrhythmia, this is how you should prevent it or how to help someone. According to the article Heart Arrhythmia by U.S. News, someone who suffers from arrhythmia should be very aware of what they put into their daily diet. Don't tax yourself with fatty foods because that can impact your heart. Do not smoke or drink too excessively, and just be careful about how much stress you put on your body. You should also be careful of the medications that you take. Certain medications can induce fast heart rate, so you want to be aware of those. If you ever come in contact with someone suffering from an episode of arrhythmia, here's what you can do. The first one on the left is called the Valsalva maneuver. Is when you tell them to hold their breath or cover their nose, and you're going to tell them to contract their ribcage or their chest. This sudden compression will reduce the cardiac filling and will help them alleviate their irregular heartbeat. On your right, if you're suffering from PSVT, according to the Cardiovascular Physiology Concepts by Richard Klundart, you should lean over and tell them to cough. Ultimately, though, if someone's suffering from an episode, you should call 911. So from my personal experience, it's really important to know the signs of arrhythmia. You should be aware, like, the differences between a normal, just you got really excited and you have a fast heart rate, and the symptoms of arrhythmia. It's also important to know how to help people when they're facing an episode and how to prevent it if you do end up experiencing arrhythmia yourself. Thank you.